Hey everyone, this is Lori, and today I want to talk about something I just experienced with my website. It went from being pretty fast in GTMetrix speed test. It went from an A down to a C, which, was like, what? Couldn't figure out what was going on, and it kept saying redirects, minimize redirects. And it was pointing to these ads. So I have an ad here, and this is from media.net. And this is an ad from media.net. And then down here, this is another ad. And I have these on every web page. Okay. And what was happening was somehow over time, these ads kept redirecting, and every time I would do a speed test, it kept saying, eliminate these redirects. I had a whole list of the redirects, and they were all coming from media.net. So what I did was I went out to my account in media.net, and I recopied all the code and inserted the code in my ad inserter plugin for media.net, and I'm going to show you what I'm getting now. I'll go ahead and do a test right now. So I was consistently for the past week getting a C, which was driving, like I said, it was driving me crazy because I was like, wait a minute, everything was going fine, and then something changed. Okay, and it took me a little while to figure that out, but I narrowed it down to the media.net based on my results. And voila, 92%, 80% on why slow, which this really isn't something that's looked at much anymore, but look at I went from anywhere from 2.9 seconds on up to sometimes 15, 16 seconds down to 1.1 second. That's awesome. So I still have a couple of issues with my leverage browser catching that I have to keep an eye on, but for everything else, it's looking pretty good. Let's see what happens on our retest. Sometimes if you get a weird reading when you test it for the first time on a, like in the morning or something, you get a crazy reading, test it again and see what happens. So I always test it a couple times, then I test it again in the afternoon and then in the evening before I shut down for the day. So let's see what we get again. But if you have any kind of ads like Google AdSense or okay, that went up to 2.6. Let's see what I'm getting. I'm still getting basically the same thing. Not sure why the variation. But if you have media.net or any kind of ads where you have to insert the code for it and everything's going fine and then all of a sudden it slows your site down, try re-entering the code and just recopying it. Because over time it may just, the websites are funny. And like I said, mine were, I kept getting all these redirects from media.net, which made no sense because I didn't do anything with the code. And so when I recopied it, it did great. Okay, so now it's down to 2. Still get an A, 2 seconds. I'm okay with that. You're going to get some variation. But when I go out to my site, I'll show you. Okay, that loads pretty darn fast. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see what happens when I go out here. Okay, that loads pretty fast. Let's go to ways to make money. Loads pretty fast. So I'm pretty happy with that. So if you are running into problems with your site speed and everything's going fine, and then all of a sudden something changes, look at whatever, look at your ads. If you have large pictures, you want to make sure that you take care of those and resize them before you upload them. Okay? Don't upload them at, 1200 by 1200 pixels and then try to resize them. Resize them before you upload them. So that's really important as well. And sometimes the code for these widgets on the side, sometimes that will, you just re-enter this code as well. But in my case, it was my media.net ads that were causing me some problems on my website speed, even though it didn't look obvious when I was actually clicking on links and stuff like that. I only realized it when I was going out and doing the actual speed tests. So, and the three that I use pagespeed. This is for Google. Let's see what this one does. This one, I don't really have a lot of confidence in this one because the variation is just ridiculous on this one. See, now I'm getting poor, needs work. Before, I was getting a 76 on mobile and an 89 on desktop. Okay, so let's go out to pingdom. And let's start this one. Okay, so before I re-entered the media.net code, I was getting a C, now I'm getting a B. And still see some leverage browser caching issues. Let's see what these minimum. Okay, this is from Google. Okay. But before, when I would click on this, I would have a whole list of all kinds of redirect chains that they were recommending that I get rid of. So let's see if I redo this, if it'll give me anything different. Okay, see? Mobile, 89. Okay, it didn't do anything. Let's see what happens again. Okay, 72 on mobile and 89 on desktop. So that's pretty good. Not gonna really try to waste. You know, I don't want to say waste, but I'm not gonna beat my head or drive myself crazy trying to get that up. Because when I check it on my phone or on my son's phone, it still loads pretty darn fast. So I am not going to do anything with that. So anyways, those are some of the things that you can do if you run into speed issues on your site when everything's going fine. Something changed. Just you know, look at the look down here and see. Like I was getting red. I was getting the redirect. It was in red. And there was another one that was in red as well. I think it was scaled images. Okay, so that's what I did. So I hope this helps. Thanks.